Hey, it's Bob Lutz, and who's this guy? It's the king of barbecue, right to my right, Jason King, senior writer, Bleacher Report, covers college basketball. Here tonight to see the Shockers, their 3-point win over Evansville, 67-64. Shockers kind of disappeared from the national psyche for a while after losing 3 games in Orlando. Are they reappearing at all?
I think so. For the most part, they certainly will after tonight. I think sometimes that can be good for a team. I mean, you don't want them to lose, but you can draw from that and kind of play with a chip on your shoulder, and I think they're doing that. And getting Grady back tonight, I think, really elevates them and is going to put them back in that national picture.
This was a battle between a couple of unbeaten teams in the Missouri Valley, albeit only 2 games into the season. I thought Evansville played well.
They're a good team. I mean, I was thinking if I'm going to come down to any conference game this year, it's going to be this one, and I'm glad I did. I mean, DJ Ballantyne's a pleasure to watch, but they've got so many other good players, and to have a game when it was close all the way to the end and have to pull that out and show that character, I think probably is going to help them more in the long run than a 20-point victory.
You mentioned Anton Grady. He stepped up tonight, but the Shockers are still trying to find themselves a little bit offensively. Ron Baker, 3 of 10 shooting tonight. Fred VanVleet admitted that it was tough for him to get into the lane and be productive tonight. He had a good game, but not a great one, yet the Shockers were able to win this one.
Well, the good thing is they've got so many pieces and so much depth that I think when one guy struggles, they've got plenty of other guys that can step up. But again, I think Grady was the story because this is his 5th game back, but to come and play at this level, I think just from a confidence issue, is just going to snowball for him. And he's that missing piece that that they wanted to add during the offseason. They did, and for him to really be coming on at just the right time, I think is going to pay off huge dividends in the long run.
You see a lot of games nationally. How's this thing shaking out as we approach? Well, we're still in early January, so a lot of time left to go. But what are your impressions nationally so far?
There's just so much parity out there, and I don't want to say mediocrity, but if you're judging teams on a 10 scale, there just aren't many 9s and 10s. I mean, I think Kansas might be up in that range. I think they're the best team in the country right now, but I mean, they've also shown that they can have lapses, and who knows, they could come out in the next game or two and not look as good as they did the other night. Just when we get excited about someone, they kind of fall on their face. Virginia losing to one of the worst teams in the ACC the other night, and Virginia Tech, and right now Iowa State struggling to beat Texas Tech and Ames. You just don't really know what's going to happen, and I think for Wichita State, they're going to be right there in that mix with everyone else, in March.
Well, the Big 12 is going to be fun all year long. It doesn't appear, outside of maybe Oklahoma State, that there's a patsy.
Yeah, I don't think TCU is very good, but I think those 2 teams are kind of at the bottom. And what excites me is again the Texas Techs of the world. Kansas State, who I don't think a lot of people were too excited about, has some nice pieces, is playing really well together. They've lost 2 games, but they're in both of those games and with maybe not as much talent as the opponent. So I think Bruce Weber's doing a great job coaching those guys. A bright future, maybe not so much this year, but down the road. But yeah, there's not going to be a lot of easy games in the league, and that's what makes it fun. I definitely think Kansas and Oklahoma have separated themselves at the top, and then maybe you got Iowa State and Baylor in that next range, but all the way through about 8, it's pretty strong.
I almost made light of Baylor, but you being a Baylor guy, I'm not going to do that to you.
Well, don't do it.
They're still a dangerous team.
They are. I mean, if you judge teams based on how they played against Kansas, for the most part, a lot of teams would look really bad. I mean, they went out and bounced back against Oklahoma State last night and took care of business pretty handily. But they're not as good as they were last year. But I think they're probably the 4th or 5th best team in the league and a tournament team.
VanVleet and Baker, have they met expectations, you think, so far this year, or are they a little below expectations?
Well, they're just kind of hard to judge this year because of the adversity they suffered early in the year with VanVleet being hurt. And so, no, they haven't, but I don't really fault them for it. I mean, I think that they still have plenty of time to get that chemistry back, and we saw a lot of it tonight, and they're going to be fine. I mean, I don't think anyone is ever going to doubt those 2 or second guess them. I just think that there's probably another level that they both feel they can play at. I'm sure they'll get there like they always do.
Thanks to Jason King from Bleacher Report. Paul Sulentrop will return this weekend when the Shockers play at Southern Illinois. For those of you who are missing Paul, and I know that's legions of you, but we're happy to have Jason tonight. Paul, we'll see you from Carbondale on Saturday.